Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique, and today what we're going to talk about is my absolutely favorite exercise, the chest dip. We're going to talk about how to perform it, what muscles do you use, and does it actually make you stronger? So you're looking at this right here, the dip bar, and like I mentioned before, this is my favorite exercise because what I think it does, well, rather I know what it does, is it helps me improve not just my bench press, but actually my overhead press too. And when you watch the movement occur, okay, you got the handles that are in a neutral position, it's gonna prioritize the chest muscles, the tricep muscles, and the shoulder muscles as well. Because the elbows are prioritized in this position where they're a little bit tighter, I'm gonna also say it might just put the triceps a little bit ahead of, or maybe as equal to, the chest muscles when it comes to muscular recruitment. So how do I perform the chest dip? Well, it is from an elevated position, so you don't have to necessarily start it from this position, but for the most part, you'll get into the top of the movement, and you want to make sure that when you go downward, you take a couple different routes. When you do this movement, you can either stay more vertical, or you can put your head down and be a little slanted. Preferably, when I do the chest dip, I'll look down, allow my body to be a little bit slanted so that I can recruit the chest, the tricep, and the shoulder muscles about as evenly as possible. But if I'm too vertical and look forward, I might prioritize my triceps just a bit more. So when I look down, here we go. Now I allow my body to be a little slanted. I get to about 90 degrees, and then I come back up. I'll go over it again in just a minute, but when I look down, the reason why I do this, my body's slanted, so now my chest is exposed a bit more. And like I mentioned in the video, I'll get to about 90 degrees, so there's kind of a consistency with my repetition from there, and it gives me a standard to work at. So again, I'll start from here. I'll get to the top of the movement, I'll look down. So I'm slanted, 90 degrees, and then back up. Now, if I look forward and stay more vertical, now I have more arm activation, and I kind of put my shoulders at a disadvantage. Some people will talk about the dip maybe not being a safe movement, and I think a lot of it stems from what is your intention with the movement. I think if you look forward and stay vertical, that puts more strain on the shoulder joint, but if you look down, you can actually put yourself in a position that actually mimics the standards you would need for like your bench press. So one of the questions we've had before is, does the dip make you stronger? And I believe it does because there's a couple reasons. The first thing, you have to navigate body weight. And to be able to do a dip in the first place, you have to be able to have control and stability, and then to perform the movement with your body weight. And another reason it gets you stronger is because we typically do pressing motions from a horizontal or a vertical position, but we don't likely do it from a downward position. And I feel like when you do it from a downward position, it's going to challenge the same muscles you need for a horizontal press, like a bench press, or a vertical press. But because we're pushing down, now we're challenging the triceps, the pecs, and the shoulders just a little differently. So it's a new stimulus. So when I program the dip, I heavily program it for two different populations, the powerlifting population and the strongman population. Now, although it's a downward motion and not a horizontal or a vertical, it still uses the same muscles you would need, but because it's a new stimulus in the program, it's likely to evoke some kind of soreness, which is going to activate growth and development. And that's what we want. We want our pressing muscles, whether they're vertical or horizontal, to be challenged from a position that we typically don't do, because that new stimulus is what kind of helps us exhaust our muscles and challenge them and make them sore to grow more. So when it comes to the dip, like you can see right now, I'm huffing and puffing just a little bit more than ideally I'd want to. So there's a couple ways to go about the dip if maybe you're new to it or want to try it as well. So I'm going to pull up the bench, and here's the progression I would want someone to take. So when I have someone who's new to dips, I typically tell them, start off with the eccentrics and come down slow for 5 seconds and perform that for about 5 to 6 seconds each rep. Now the next progression I would say is just normal dips. So like we talked about before, you'll come off, look down so you're slanted, and perform your reps. as normal as possible. And the final progression I would say I would take with dips is to do them with paused reps. So again, the normal standard for a dip, in my eyes, make sure you look down, get your body slanted, and don't look forward to overdo the shoulder joint. For pause dips, you come down, you pause, come up, pause, come up, and that'll replicate the standard you see in powerlifting, but because you're pausing at the bottom and overloading the tricep, that's also a great tool to help you overload your vertical press. So in general, this is one of my favorite exercises of all time, the chest dip. It does challenge your chest, but it also challenges your triceps and your shoulders. In order to do that, you want to look down. So when you perform the dip to 90 degrees, you allow all those muscles to work. Because if you look forward and choose tall, you might do the tricep too much and overdo the shoulder joint because you're more vertical from that position. And I would tell people who want to do the dip exercise, you'll get stronger because of it. And if you're new to it, there's 3 ways to follow a progression to get better at it. Do the eccentric reps for 5 seconds down, assisted on the way up, do normal dips, and then do pause dips to make it the absolute toughest possible. So again, my name is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique. We just worked through the chest dip. If you have questions on the chest dip, or if there's something we didn't cover, leave it in the comments below, subscribe, like the channel, and hopefully we can hear from you. You enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you next time.